Hey, my name is Crispin Jensen, owner and founder of LifeStart Training. We discussed last week the stigma around mental health and how we can not only identify mental health issues, but also be a support to somebody. This week, we are going to dive into breaking the stigma, Would You Know, Part 2. If you saw someone lying on the ground with a broken leg, you probably know what to do for them. But if your coworker, friend, or family member was struggling with mental health, would you know how to help them? In 2017, the CSA added a mental health component to their guidelines. And I'm going to tell you right now that here at LifeStart First Aid, we could not be happier. About 50% of Canadians, by the time they are 40 years old, will have had some form of mental health illness. At LifeStart, we are taking mental health education, as we do with everything else, very seriously. So what is mental health first aid? Mental health first aid is providing help to a person with a developing mental illness. Unlike physical injury or an illness, you won't see a tangible injury like you would with a cut or a burn. Therefore, the first step will most likely be to identify that somebody is struggling. Some of the signs and symptoms that you can look out for are the feeling of sadness or feeling upset, unable to meet daily commitments. Maybe they're looking extremely exhausted and tired, not returning phone calls, emails, or maybe even text messages, irritability and or changes in their regular behavior, changes in appetite and eating habits, loss of interest in hobbies, inability to concentrate or cope with daily life things and simple tasks, self-harm or suicidal thoughts, alcohol or drug dependencies, and we can also end up seeing delusions, so things that they're seeing or hearing that aren't really there. As with physical first aid, the first priority is always to make sure that your own safety is prominent. Assess the situation to ensure that you're safe and that the person is not going to harm themselves or others. Call 911 if needed, or there are other mental health resources like the Canadian Suicide Prevention, Kids Help Phone, or Hope for Wellness line. Okay, when we're talking with veterans, there's a VAC assistance service that can provide you with psychological support. It's available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and this service is for veterans or former RCMP members, their families, and caregivers. What can you do to help someone with a mental health issue? Show compassion. Start by listening to the person without judgment. Listen to understand their feelings and listen without telling your side of the story and giving your own judgment or advice, such as, hey, just choose to be happy. Validate their feelings. Tell them that you hear them. Tell them that you understand. Give support to them by offering to help find them resources that could best serve their needs. Many mental health organizations offer some sort of free resource, classes, or support groups. Their physician may also be able to recommend a therapist or a psychiatrist. Suggest that they practice some self-care. Self-care could mean anything from saying no to commitments to, taking some time off to rest or exercise. It can even be meditation, self-help books, or classes. Understand what self-care means for them. Encourage them to seek professional help if it's severe. Some ideas that may help to increase the feel-good chemicals in your brain is exercise or, walking in nature. Taking a couple of minutes to sit and meditate. Sitting in the sun with sunscreen, of course, because you don't want to get burnt, but, soaking up some vitamin D. Laughing. Laughing is a huge booster. Eat some dark chocolate, okay? So if you eat some chocolate, you don't have to feel bad about it because you can just say, hey, it's for my mental health. Listen to music. So create a feel-good playlist that lifts you up. Journaling is also another great way to get everything out. Ask for help and focus on self-care. If that doesn't work, talk to your healthcare professional and see if there are additional resources for you, okay? Again, we take mental health issues seriously and we want to share the tools with everybody. We are passionate about educating our students on mental health and on mental health first aid. We are committed to updating our training programs as new recommendations for both physical and mental health are introduced. Stay tuned for next week for industry standards, what works and what doesn't.